Well, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to When I Feel Like a Clock in the Basement, as I always am. As you can tell, I'm watching the second round of the NHL entry draft. You can watch my top 15 picks. Especially my top five might interest you. I threw a little curve in there. I didn't see things like a lot of the scouts did. So we'll see if it works out all right. Usually, it does. I don't like people tell me I should talk about myself a little more so people know who they're listening to when I do these videos, and I'm not really comfortable with it, but I'm going to. I started doing these videos simply because I found myself and other people found me to be extremely accurate about things to do with hockey. I have very little useful skills to give the world, so that's pretty much what I got. And so I'm trying to use it. If you go back into my previous post last year, where you see my predictions for the playoffs, like for instance, I took Columbus to make the playoffs last year when nobody thought they would, and I was pretty much bang on everything in the West. In the East, I went with my heart with Detroit, and I'm sorry about that because I shouldn't have. But that's pretty much what I'm doing. So if you don't know who I am, this gives you a little bit more of who I am. Also, last year, also in my drafting projections have been very good. And last year, for instance, I picked Sergachev over Harvey that Edmonton Oilers picked, and Kachuk as well. I picked them as I would have rather have them picked one of them, especially Sergachev. Tampa did a hell of a job getting him from Montreal for Drouin, although I understand the trade from Montreal's perspective. Anyways, on this day, I'm going to talk about the Eberle shenanigans that has been going on. I've talked about it twice in my previous video. You might want to check it out. I talked about in a previous video about how Eberle, if they were to trade him, they were going to have to trade low, and they did. Before I go on though, Jaime's Body Lube. Make sure everybody's well lubed. It's the best. There, I said it. Um, so Eberle, they had to trade low if they were going to trade him, as I was saying before. I was hoping that they'd be able to pick up some players from Vegas because I would have thought Eberle would have been a perfect player for them. Relatively young, able to hit the cat floor, and I still wonder if maybe they could have got Mathot and maybe one of their offensive players like Marcia Shaw or Smith for him. But I think if they could have got that, they would have. So it's hard. I guess not. Maybe they're just really high on the Strom kid. Now, here's the problem. They're probably going to look really bad here. Eberle is not a bad player. He's just not in a player that is a perimeter player with a lot of skill. That's the problem. If you look at my other videos, you'll see that I talk about how he needs to get into the corners and in front of the net. That doesn't mean grind and bash. You're not going to get that at Eberle. But it does mean going in and using your skill in the areas that are not sometimes fun to be in. And people said, well, and you got to remember, he played primarily in a shutdown role with Nugent Hopkins in Edmonton, and he still got 50 points in that role. That being said, Nugent Hopkins is a better center for him than McDavid, if you can believe that. Because McDavid is almost like Crosby in a lot of ways, where he is a cycle center who looks for people down low and tries to get shots on net and wants somebody to come in the corners and help him with the puck or give him a short pass so he can get out and pass it back to him and stuff like that. Eberle is not that guy. He could be, but he just won't do it. Now, he's going to the island where Tavares is a lot like, say, Malkin. Tavares likes the puck. He's the one that's going to take the puck to the net. He's the one that's going to take the puck and shoot it more often than not. he doesn't mind playing with perimeter players. He'll get him. He'll go towards the net, and when he gets in a position where he can't go any further, he likes to have a perimeter player there to pass the puck off to. So I think Eberle is going to work out a lot better on the island than in Edmonton, and the trade may look pretty bad for Edmonton. As a whole, just on the surface, the trade, Edmonton already lost the trade. Strom's best year playing with Tavares, and by the way, Strom is a perimeter player too, really. Playing with Tavares is not as good as Eberle's best year. So, and his best year was not playing with McDavid. So it doesn't look good so far. But Strom, on the other hand, has a lot of speed. He's more straight ahead than Eberle. He's not really the man's hockey player, which might actually benefit him. He just needs to do what he's told to do. Keep the game simple and put him on McDavid's line so McDavid always knows where he is. And you just never know, that might click. This was a salary dump to a certain extent. They probably weren't going to be able to keep this contract anyways, I guess people say, but I don't know. I find that hard to believe. They get I think it's Strom is at $2.5 million now. If he hits a home run with McDavid and starts putting up points like Eberle does, he's probably going to get 4.5 to 6 anyways. So they're not really, they wouldn't save that much that way. I think it's likely that even if he does hit a home run, they're going to be able to say, look, this has been your first year on a winning, hitting these kind of numbers. We're going to give you a short term, somewhere in the $4 million a year, 3.5, and they save $2 million for a couple of years to sign Draisaitl and McDavid for their long-term contracts. It's just a shame that it all had to work out the way it did. Giving Eberle $6 million a year in the beginning was not a good move. You already had you had Hall making the same amount of money as Eberle. Hall should have been the. Now I think Eberle was playing there before Hall got there, and he looked like a 40-goal scorer at the time. So they hedged their bets that he was going to be that 40-goal scorer. If he did, it would have panned out for him, but it didn't, and that salary looks too large for them, and they had to do what they did, I guess. I still find it hard to believe they couldn't have did a little more as far as. Other than Strom, but if the kid works out, what do I know? Anyways, that's my full 42. I have no more. I have no more to give them 42%. If anybody's asking what it is, some people give their full 100. I only have 42, and I gave it all to you. Have a great. Oh, my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Check out my other videos, my Eberle ones and the ones in my top 15, and I got a top 10 coach video that's just been sitting there and nobody's touched. It's lonely. It's a lonely little video. You need to pick it up. Have a great day. Lots of love to you.